Now, you're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. We welcome you back to the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. And a shout out to Sammy from Sammy's Restaurant and Bar. Sammy Ledecky. That Kung Pao chicken is something from way out of left field. That Kung Pao chicken at 7 Mile Casino is as out of left field as Bob Melvin to the Padres as the new manager is. And we'll talk about that later on in the afternoon because earlier today there was a press conference announcing Bob Melvin. We'll get there coming up. But 7 Mile Casino Studios, and check out 7milecasino.com along with Grande and the Brown Man. This is the Kaplan and Crew show on the airwaves of 1090, 50,000 watts, blasting from San Diego north into Orange County, LA, north into Ventura, Santa Barbara, the Central Coast, the whole deal, man. I'm telling you. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube today, you are the heart and soul of what we do. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you're involved in our YouTube chat this afternoon. Spread the word. And for those that catch up to us tonight on television, Channel 4 San Diego, also Channel 4 Santa Barbara, Orange County, it's Channel 118, same in Palos Verdes. For those of you watching on TV tonight, you only get a short period of time on the show. So come to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kaplan and Crew, and get the entire show. As a matter of fact, Grande, I'm going to throw you a little curveball here on a Monday afternoon. You ready to go?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah. Here goes. Little curveball action. We have so many things that we want to talk about today, and I don't even know if we'll get to all of it, but I want to go through a list for everybody that's listening and for everybody that's watching. You're going to want to stay with us the entire day today, whether it's radio, YouTube, and if those of you who watch on TV, you'll have to come watch on YouTube, or you'll listen on audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Amazon Music, whatever the deal is. There's so much to get to. Could we try for the first time ever in one segment? By the way, I just spit. You may have seen that on television, like a massive spitball.
I do it
flying out
all the time, and you guys have
Yeah.
never said anything, so I don't think
Yeah.
you can see it.
Did you see that one?
No.
It just looked like it looked
I don't
big
really
and
call out when
heavy.
people spit.
You do call out when people spit?
No, I don't.
How about you ever have somebody talking to you close face to face and they accidentally like have a little spittle that comes and hits you in the face, and like you have to
Oh,
decide.
I react like I got like shot with a gun. Like,
Oh, you do?
ah. Yeah, I don't like.
Didn't somebody want to spit in your mouth?
Yeah, didn't somebody spit in your mouth like a great friend?
Yeah.
Did you guys basically make out at a bar?
No. The story was I had a friend who was so confident that he could not get COVID that he was willing to let me spit in his mouth. That was the
No,
story.
and
no,
then you
but
had
you had a
another
great
incident.
friend. Like you guys were
Yeah.
talking close, and some spittle landed on your lip. I remember.
Yeah,
that
that is
right.
true. That is true. I did have somebody talking to me too close, and they did have a little spit thing, and
Yeah.
it did jump out, and it did land on my lip, and then I thought I had
Hopefully,
COVID.
it want that white kind that develops in people's corner of their mouth. When they're
Oh,
talking.
that's rough.
Hope that didn't get on your
That's
lip.
rough.
Ugh.
I had a.
That's so nasty.
I was at a bar Saturday morning watching Manchester United, and there was a dude sitting next to us, not next to me, next to my buddy to the left, and he had, I wouldn't even call it spittle. It was like a full on like loogie, like loogie, like just bleh, like
That
he was
did what?
talking, it just came out of his mouth, man. It
Yeah.
shot out like a freaking water cannon.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Did it land on somebody?
I was out of the splash zone, but my buddy was definitely in the front row at SeaWorld, dude.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, bro, get
Oh.
out of here. Anyways,
All right,
what were you
here's what I
saying?
want to do. Curveball time. You ready? Especially, and this is for everybody who watches us on television at night. I want to inspire you to come to our YouTube channel and watch the entire show. And for those of you that listen on radio or watch on YouTube when we're on the air, because obviously, when we're on TV, this is all recorded stuff from earlier in the day. Let me tell you all the different things we want to talk about today. All right, I'm going to actually show it to you, Alex. I want to take everybody through the entire slideshow of things that we plan on talking about as the afternoon goes on. All right, here goes. No, here goes. Here goes. Alex, just work with me. Just follow me around. You ready? Here goes. One, and we'll get to this a little bit later on today because I really want to talk about the press conference. But Bob Melvin hired by the Padres, and today introduced by the Padres. And I have honestly talked to so many people. Just to give you a quick example, Saturday night, I'm at a party, a Halloween party. And there were these three younger guys, and this was definitely a middle-aged crowd. Browner, middle-aged being defined as 40 to 60.
40
Yeah,
plus?
40 to 60 kind of crowd here,
That's
and
fair.
and there were these three young guys, three young, tall, good-looking guys. And the one guy, he's like looking at me, and I'm like, "Oh man, does this guy want some mink mink? I mean, what's going on here, Browner?
Or
You know?"
Maybe he wants to spit in your
kiss
mouth.
kiss.
Yeah. Well, turns
Yeah.
out this kid walks right up on top of me, and he goes, and this is exactly what he says to me. He goes, "What do you think about the hiring of Bob Melvin?" Like, that's all he asked me. He wasn't like, "Hey man, do I know you?" It was, "Hey man, what do you think about the hiring of Bob Melvin?" And he was a really nice kid who, by the way, he was telling me his story. He's gone through 4 years of college, 4 different colleges playing baseball, trying to make it to pro baseball. And all we did, he and I, was talk about the hiring of Bob Melvin. And what I said on Friday remains the same. The most impressive thing to me about what the Padres did here is they went and got somebody that wasn't on any of our radars. We were talking about Mike Scioscia, Buck Showalter, Ozzie Guillen, Bruce Bochy. We were talking about all these names. No one ever mentioned Bob Melvin. And what's fascinating to me is that the Padres would have even inquired about Bob Melvin, and then the A's would let him walk out the door, and according to all reports, with zero compensation. It's not like the Padres said, "Here's $10 million or $5 million or $5, or here's a bag of baseballs because we know you guys are broke in Oakland." Like, they went and found somebody who had a job who wasn't on anybody's availability radar. That, to me, is the most impressive part about signing Bob Melvin. So that's
You know what's
something we're
impressive
definitely going
to
to get
me?
to. Go ahead.
I didn't get a chance to talk about it on Friday, but you know how in video games, every player has ratings. In Madden, you got a rating, and it breaks it down. Like physical strength, awareness. I would say that AJ Preller's awareness of what was being said about him shot up when he hired Bob Melvin, because I think he was aware that you cannot bring another no name. You cannot bring anyone that's going to be perceived to be as a yes man, because you just can't have it for a third straight time in a row. I was very surprised by the awareness that AJ Preller showed of that fact, that I have to bring in someone that is experienced, that is physically imposing, possibly. Like, he had to bring in a complete opposite of what he's hired so far. I was
Yeah.
impressed. Pie in
Yeah.
face Friday, for sure.
No, so am I. So am I. Totally impressed. To the point where I said I won't even start watching the Padres until after the All-Star break this upcoming season. I'll probably be watching from the very beginning now.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
my stance still remains the same on the Padres. Nothing matters until August.
Oh.
Nothing matters, but I'll probably watch
right?
now early on.
Well, I
yeah.
never said I wouldn't watch. That was your
Yeah.
stance.
Yes, you
No,
do.
I'm not crowning. You want to crown
Listen,
them?
I'm
To
just-
crown their ass. I'm not crowning
listen,
off-season champs again. I'm not doing it.
Bro, I'm just glad y'all back.
not
That's
back.
all, man. I'm just glad
It was
y'all
a good
back.
hire.
Because you said you weren't watching.
It was
Yeah,
a good hire.
It's interesting. It's just an amazing.
It's a great
it's an
hire.
Well, what makes it a great hire, without knowing any future results, what makes it a great hire is you have a guy who's been incredibly successful in an organization that has no money, has no fan base, is eventually going to move. But more importantly, he was under contract. If you work in
They just
radio,
picked up his option, by the way, too, like a
Right.
few days before, I think.
right. If you work in radio, let me give a better example. This is actually a real life example. It's a little old school, but here goes. Matt Vasgersian, who does the play-by-play for the Angels, when he worked for the Padres as their play-by-play man, you know that the Chicago Cubs tried to hire him, and the Padres wouldn't let him out of his contract without like excessive compensation. Here's a better example. You ever have a college football coach that wants to leave from one school and go to another school, but there's a buyout clause, so the new school has to pay the previous school a lot of money to get the coach away?
And we
That's a
talked about
better
it
example.
all offseason with Brian Dutcher.
Perfect example. Okay. This is what the Padres pulled off, and according to the reports, with zero compensation. So to me, this is a great hire. It's not an AJ Preller guy. He doesn't come from the Preller ecosystem. He didn't work for the Texas Rangers, the greatest franchise in baseball. Okay. And he's not 5'6", he's 6'5". So
Well, now you're
we'll talk
giving him
more
an
about
inch
that.
like Browner gives himself an inch.
Yeah.
6'4".
Well, is he 6'4"? Okay, fine. All right, let's keep going.
on, man, stop
I
it.
told you I was throwing you a curveball here today. Other stories.
Next story,
Other stories
next.
that we will get to. Here goes. San Diego State football. Credit to Browner.
Ugh, told you.
Browner told us this is the week. I thought this is the week where San Diego State elevates, where this is the week that San Diego State says, no, take us seriously. America, and I say America, college football America has fallen in love with Cincinnati. Cincinnati has one great win against Notre Dame on the road at Notre Dame. Otherwise, they're playing like a CD kind of a schedule. They're playing a mid-major, lower level kind of schedule. America has fallen in love with Cincinnati. They're ahead of Alabama. They're ahead of Oklahoma. They're ahead of Michigan State, who had a big win this past weekend. San Diego State had a real opportunity. There are schools out there this year that are making an impact. Wake Forest is number 10 in the country. Did anybody see that coming? Haven't heard of Wake Forest in years. How about this one? University of Texas San Antonio is a top 20 college football team. San Diego State, this was the year, because this could be the Cinderella season of college football. Not that they're going to win a national championship, a mid-major, but they're going to be involved in the conversation of top 25. And there's going to be some really smaller schools or less traditional powerhouses that are going to make it into some nice bowl games. San Diego State had that chance. They blew it against Fresno State. We all knew it was coming at some point. We were all hoping it wasn't. I got a text message from Kirk Morrison over the weekend. Told you it was coming. Browner, you saw this one.
Listen, I hate to be right about this because I wanted them to keep winning, and I know we want to move from story to story, so I'm going to make this really quick. It's time to start passing the football exclusively. I watched Michigan State beat Michigan with a terrible quarterback, doing the same thing we do with way better players, and they would never beat Alabama. They would never, ever beat any of these high-level championship-style teams. Michigan State's not going to win the national title because they don't have the players to do so. And two, they don't have the quote-unquote football three-ball. They're not passers. You have to pass. I like the San Diego State program. It's time to start passing the football, dude. I'm sorry.
Alex, your team let you down, but
Well, let me just say this. Let me say this. You want to be a top 25 program? Coach like you're a top 25 program. 4th and 3 on Fresno's 43, you're down 10 and you punt? Get out of here with that, man. Coach aggressively when you're at no point in life of history of football is that a good decision. None. Ever.
Unless you got the Ravens defense or the 85 Bears. Other than that, you got to try to get those 3 yards.
You have struggled to score all game. I don't care about defense at this point. Even if you stop them, you have actually moved the ball to their 43-yard line. So at worst case, you punt, and then what? You stop them again, and you got to work your way back up. It's been a struggle. I lost my mind when I saw Brady do that. I lost my freaking mind. Coach like a top 25 program. Believe in your players when they don't believe in themselves. Elevate them. And I was livid, dude. Livid when he did that.
When your punter is your best player and you're thinking that the best chance you have is to pin them down because you have more confidence in your punter than you do in your offensive line and your running game, that's a huge problem. So, okay, San Diego State falling this weekend and then falling out of the top 25. Hey, that's the world of college football. Believe me, it hurts.
Oh,
I was watching
fell
Pitt,
or
Miami.
just drowned in the top 25.
Well, yeah, I mean they
dropped 12 spots.
Yeah. Well, you say they.
You too, Mr. Pitt.
Well, yeah. I'm saying when you go by receiving votes,
yeah,
I think they're 32nd. They went from 21st to 32nd, even though Fresno is now a top 25 team. They like I said, they've been waiting for State to lose to get rid of them.
I know. Say, hey, listen, believe me, I feel you, San Diego State fans. My Pitt Panthers, same problem. Pitt plays Miami. Pitt's a much better team. Pitt's coming off a big emotional win against Clemson. Not that Clemson's as good as they normally are. You're at home. You've got Miami. You've got a quarterback that's all of a sudden being talked about as a Heisman Trophy potential candidate and as somebody who's a possible first overall pick in the NFL draft. And the kid played his mind out, passed for over 500 yards, but defensively couldn't stop a freshman quarterback, a redshirt freshman quarterback from Miami who played a great game. This is college football. This is what it is. Believe me, Michigan fans are hurting on a day like today. And I know San Diego State fans are hurting as well. All right, keep it on going. These are things that we will talk about as the show goes on. But for those of you that are watching on television, this is why you come to our YouTube channel. Let's keep going. How about the Chargers yesterday against the New England Patriots? Now, a lot of people I saw on Twitter predicted that I would start here and I would laugh and brag about how Patriot fans took over SoFi Stadium. I don't need to laugh about that nor brag about it. I told you on Thursday and Friday of last week, Patriot fans, tons of people from Boston in the LA area, tons of Patriot fans. That's happens when, generationally you've won 6 Super Bowls in the last 20 years. No major surprise. And by the way, no major surprise that the Patriots won the game. The Patriots are working their way back into playoff contention at 4-4. And the Chargers were coming off a bad loss against Baltimore, a bye week, and then a home game in front of all of these Patriot fans. I'm not surprised by the result at all. How about you guys?
No. I thought when they started off 7-0, I was like, okay, here we go. But Bill Belichick he does great against young quarterbacks, and regardless of what I think of Herbert, it is his second year. I didn't think he struggled. I thought he made a couple mistakes, but a lot of quarterbacks did around the league. So I just thought they got out coached yesterday. I thought that was the first time this season they actually literally got out coached.
Yeah, watching that game, if the Patriots had any sort of like actual competent offense, it wouldn't even have been close.
Right.
It really wouldn't. It would have been another Ravens.
It would have been
It would have
ugly.
been another Ravens game like that. If the Patriots had any sort of like real consistent offense, that game would not have been close. But it's not shocking because it's Bill Belichick against the Chargers. He owns them, always has owned them, will continue to own them more than Dean Spanos does. Like Bill Belichick owns the Chargers. It is what it's nothing new here.
Yeah, and in the two games that Justin Herbert has played against the Patriots in a Bill Belichick
Two worst
coach
games
defense,
of his career.
Correct. So we'll talk more about that. We'll get more in depth later on. I will say this, bored out of my mind yesterday afternoon because in the 10 a.m. window, because I was home watching the Rams take on the Houston Texans. And it was the only game on local TV. I watched the Red Zone. So I had the Red Zone on my phone, and I have the one game that's on TV on the actual television screen. The Rams and the Texans. I turned it off in the third quarter. I want to say the score was 38-0. I was trying to decide who's worse, the Texans or the Lions, because at the exact same time, both teams were being beaten 38-0. Right? It turns out
the Lions ain't winning a game, man.
I know, turns out
the Lions are bad.
I left this game. I stopped watching it because it was just so boring. Turns out that Houston actually climbs back not to compete, but to try and at least cover the spread, right?
They did.
And so what was the spread total? Do you recall?
16.5 was the spread, and I believe they ended up losing by 16.
Yeah. So
I mean, it makes sense in the NFL. Teams, did Stafford get pulled? Did he even? There's no way he should.
He did. No, he did get pulled. He did.
Yeah,
he did. So I stopped watching this game because here's the thing: it was just boring. It's hard for me to believe that in a league that has prided itself on parity, that was the word, parity, that teams like Houston or Detroit can be this bad to the point where I, as a football fan, think this is so bad and so boring, I'll turn it off. I'll go put Halloween decorations away.
Like, that's okay though.
Here's the difference between the Lions and the Texans. The Texans have a franchise quarterback who won't play for them. So they came into the season thinking they could convince this kid to play, so they didn't really arrange around him not being there because they thought he would play because of the money. Now that he's choosing not to, it's different than what the Lions are doing.
Dude,
the Lions are bad.
Yeah, I was in the third quarter. I was tweeting, do you think the Texans could put in Deshaun Watson now and make this just some form of entertainment for me? Seriously. And then just to keep on going.
That's why the Texans didn't want to start Tyrod. They didn't want to throw him to the Wolves first game back.
Well, just to keep on going here, how about this storyline around the NFL? And again, we'll dig deeper into this. How about all the upsets with quarterbacks that you didn't expect it to come from? Trevor Siemian and the New Orleans Saints beat the Buccaneers after what's his kid's name? Winston? I'm losing his first name.
Jameis
Winston. After Jameis Winston was hurt, there's what's the other kid's name? Taysom Hill, the backup, he's out. How about the New York Jets beat the Bengals? The Bengals are coming off this huge win against Baltimore, has everybody talking about the Bengals, and a guy named Mike White, a third-year quarterback out of Western Kentucky, leads the Jets to a win. And then Cooper Rush. Listen, I know, Alex, you're a Vikings fan, but there was a good storyline happening with Cooper Rush filling in for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys beating the Vikings. So this storyline of backup quarterbacks this weekend around the NFL, definitely something we'll get into deeper on. And then just lastly, this is the last thing I'm going to mention, and that is the Lakers, because we were talking last week about the disaster of the pushing and shoving on the bench, and then Russell Westbrook complaining about a team humiliating them. Now, look, they haven't played anybody necessarily, but at least LeBron comes back on Friday night against Cleveland, 18 years to the day that he started his career for Cleveland in the NBA, and they win, and then they beat Houston last night in a game that was a 21-point lead going into the fourth quarter. So I was like, that's it, I'm tapped out. So there you have it, everybody. We'll go deeper into these stories, but that is definitely what is on our minds. And then throw on top of all of this the Rams trade with Denver and getting Von Miller to the Rams. So we'll get into all of these stories as the day goes on. I do want to remind everybody listening and watching right now about our friends at iThriveMD. Make sure you check their website, ithrivemd.com/Kaplan, or call them 858-240-1497. I talked to Dr. Damani a little bit earlier, like literally by text. If you make an appointment now at iThriveMD between now and Thanksgiving, and if you need to go onto a series of testosterone treatments, your first 3 months are 50% off. The deal was supposed to be over at the end of October. I've convinced Dr. Damani at least just get us through Thanksgiving, because I know a lot of people are procrastinators. Call and make an appointment, 858-240-1497. We'll get you the 3 months of testosterone treatments at 50% off. That means Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, well into the new year, you're going to save from $289 a month to $145 a month, but you have to make your appointment before Thanksgiving. Then it goes away. 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497, ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. Guys, this 50% savings, this is the motivation you've been waiting for, to have your testosterone checked. And if low, let's get it right. And let's do it at iThriveMD for 50% savings. All right, we've set up the stories. Now let's dig into them. Stay with us. We're just getting rolling here on a Monday on Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Here at the mightier 1090 AM, we don't just bring you SoCal sports. That would be lame. We also bring you the blue and gold Fighting Irish. We're the radio flagship for Notre Dame football for all of Southern California. This is the mightier 1090 AM.
SDCCU is an engaged community partner. Each year, SDCCU is proud to support many nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Our partnerships allow us to help shape the financial lives of many through volunteerism, financial support, and creating public awareness. The result is a big impact on the communities we serve. SDCCU, it's not big bank banking, it's better. Federally insured by NCUA. Find out more at sdccu.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View, or stream it online at yourview.com. Are you or someone you love living with dementia? Get free support from the experts at Alzheimer's San Diego. Visit alzsd.org or call 858-492-4400. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
Up to 30% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers with persistent symptoms months after the infection.
What I've been finding with my patients is that it's taking up to 3 to 6 months for them to recover their endurance, exercise capacity, and get them back to work or to their usual activities of daily living.
What I wasn't able to do was the basic needs, like brush your teeth, take a shower, because of the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest.
The symptoms that concern me the most, the shortness of breath. So restrictive, you know, you go through and you just take for granted that, you know, you're gonna breathe. And when that gets taken away, it's a scary thought. Unfortunately, I'm 6 months out now from my diagnosis, and I'm still suffering from several of the symptoms.
My experience with the patients I've sent to La Mesa Rehab has been extremely positive. The patients come back with good reports, and when I see them in the office, their exercise capacity has improved dramatically.
I'm getting there because of La Mesa Rehab.
Teatro means theater in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Tagalog, and in Italian, and in so many languages. We have a lot of communities, a lot of culture here, so that is the reason why Teatro is in the name. The mission of Teatro San Diego is to provide arts education to underserved communities, specifically in schools. Our goal is also in tandem with arts education to provide a professional theater company and dance company so that the community can see themselves reflected on stage at the professional level. Places like Subaru have really been so supportive and have helped us come up with projects like the AMI project.
I was so honored to be at an event a few days ago and heard some of the songs from it. These guys rock. This is just an amazing thing that everyone needs to see.
Listen to the Mightier 1090 for the LA Football Show with Ryan Dyru. Fridays at 5 p.m. The best guests and the best coverage for your LA football teams. Rams, Chargers, UCLA, USC, SDSU. We have them covered. Only on the Mightier 1090 AM.
My name is John Alicio, and I'm managing partner of Procopio. Procopio is the largest San Diego-based law firm, and we're proud to be a part of this event, the Salute to Teachers. Without the teachers, none of us would have had the success we've had. You know, our firm consists of about 200 professionals and 200 attorneys, so a total of 400 mostly San Diego educated professionals. Without you, we'd not be winning the cases we win as we go toe-to-toe with the best attorneys in the world. So thank you on behalf of Procopio for what you do and how you do it. And a special personal thanks to my alma mater, Valhalla High School, and the teachers at that school. Without you, I would not have had the personal success I have had. So from Procopio, thank you for what you do and how you do it. Salute.
Congratulations to the San Diego County Teachers of the Year, Laura Reyes, Heather McLean, Jacqueline Jourdain, Zy Sanders, and Tiffany Jokerst.
This year has provided a mountain of challenges, but every mountaintop is within reach if you just keep climbing.
Cox Presents Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
San Diego State football suffered their first loss of the season to Fresno State on Saturday, 30-20. The Bulldogs got out to an early lead in the second quarter, and the Aztecs just couldn't find a rhythm to get back into things. The loss dropped SDSU out of the AP poll top 25. Defensive end Cameron Thomas was named a semifinalist for the Bednarik Award on Monday. Thomas is the first Aztec to be named a semifinalist. This season, he has 42 tackles, including 12 for loss, 5.5 sacks, and 13 quarterback hurries. He leads the team in all of those categories. Next up for SDSU, they'll head to the islands to take on Hawaii this Saturday. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams. Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcats. He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Stockos holds it in. What a catch. Return left sidelines off to the races. He flipped the defenders into the end zone. He's got a man. Wildcats. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
There's a difference between just getting there and enjoying the journey. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, we put you in the driver's seat of the best cars around. From our stylish crossover SUVs to our classic sedans and sports cars. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, your good credit and trade-in can turn into the Mazda of your dreams. Start enjoying your drive with a new Mazda today. Visit Team Mazda of El Cajon.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the Mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 and Your View. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Great friends, we welcome you back. This is Kaplan and crew along with Grande and the Brown Man. We bring it to you from the 7 Mile Casino Studios, 7milecasino.com. Don't forget Sammy's Restaurant and Bar inside 7 Mile Casino. I know that Sammy's Restaurant and Bar is known for their pizza and their salads, but I'm telling you right now, the slider burgers, the short rib, the Kung Pao chicken, I'm telling you, the menu is out of this world, and now you've got a world-class restaurant inside 7 Mile Casino, 7milecasino.com, just minutes from downtown San Diego. All right, Grande, Brown Man. We set up for everybody earlier all the different stories we wanted to get to here this afternoon. So let's jump into the NFL stuff. We'll obviously get into the San Diego State stuff at some point. We will definitely get to the Padres and the hiring of Bob Melvin. We'll play some stuff for you from the press conference earlier in the day. But let's just jump right in to the NFL. Browner, do you have anything you would like to start us off with today? Because I've already talked a little bit about the Rams, a little bit about the Chargers versus the Patriots. I talked about the Rams being boring because of Houston and how I was not surprised at all about New England's win over the Chargers. Where's your top story in your mind about yesterday? It could be your own team. What do you think?
I would say be wary of people clapping for backups. The backups performed well, but that's what they're supposed to do. A lot of people are talking today about the Cowboys backup or the Jets backup. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be serviceable enough to get you to either the end of the game if your starter gets hurt or to be able to do something one game. Because this happened a lot around the NFL. Backups started winning. Trevor Siemian is not a good quarterback. He's not. And on any given day, he can come in and perform well because there's no tape on him in that offense. I can promise you, if they start him next week, he will be trash. Sean Payton is not a wizard, okay? Cooper Rush, if you start him next week, he will be trash. I guarantee you, because the NFL is full of a lot of full-time people whose job it is to figure out how to stop these guys. And unless you are an elite level talent quarterback, like some of these guys are, they'll figure you out. So don't start clapping for backups. I thought they did great, but hold on now. Don't jump the gun.
Yeah. I actually love the story here today on Monday of the backups on Sunday. You mentioned Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian comes in to a game for the New Orleans Saints as the third quarterback, which means he never gets snaps or reps in practice. All he does is watch tape with the other guys and hold a clipboard. And yesterday, in a pressure-packed situation for the New Orleans Saints, here's Trevor Siemian, who I was trying to remember. I was like, where has he played prior to New Orleans? Like, I know the name, and I couldn't remember. Was it the Washington football team? Is that where he played? Does anybody remember where Siemian played?
Trevor Siemian played for the Chicago Bears.
Okay, I don't recall that. Alex,
he
how
was
about you?
he was with the Broncos.
Oh, that's where it is. Oh, right.
I think he was like backup for the Vikings for a year, but he was primarily with the Broncos. You would know him from.
Okay, that's what it is. So, what was he a kid who was a first-round draft choice that the Broncos had taken? That he, because remember they had I'm trying to remember who they had as a first-round.
No, that was
draft
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch.
That was he was.
God,
No,
whatever happened to that guy?
Trevor Siemian was not a first-round pick. He played with the Broncos, backup Vikings, backup Jets, and I guess last year was a backup for the Titans as well.
Wow. Okay. See, I listen again. If this is out of left field, I'm like, gosh, I know the name, but I couldn't figure out where. I thought Washington. Turns out Denver. So Trevor Siemian, a guy who you've never hear of, a guy who is on nobody's radar, walks into a game for the New Orleans Saints when Jameis Winston gets hurt, and looks like Jameis Winston might be really hurt he might be out with a knee injury. They don't have Taysom Hill, their other quarterback, because he's out with a concussion. And Trevor Siemian comes into a game against Tampa Bay and Tom Brady and gets a win. And by the way, late in the game, minute and change to go, Brady and the Bucs offense comes back out onto the field. New Orleans had taken the lead, and we all expect that Brady is going to drive down the field and get the winning score. He throws an interception. And Trevor Siemian, to your point, Browner, becomes celebrated as a backup quarterback who got a huge win yesterday. But I'll give the guy credit. He may be what you say trash. I mean, he's a backup for a reason. And I'm not so sure that it's because Tampa Bay didn't have tape on Trevor Siemian. He went out there and balled, and Tampa Bay didn't. Tampa Bay let New Orleans back into this game, and New Orleans took a big lead, and then Tampa came battling way back, and they still had an opportunity to win the game. How about the story, though, of the Jets? Here are the Cincinnati Bengals coming into this past weekend. Here's what people were thinking about the Cincinnati Bengals. They destroyed the Baltimore Ravens. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC. Should the playoffs start today, that's what Cincinnati would have been yesterday. And they're playing the lowly New York Jets. And the Jets don't have their first-round draft choice quarterback, who they think is going to be a future superstar. And in comes a guy that I'm guessing none of us have ever heard of before. Trevor Siemian, I kind of knew the name. Mike White? Mike White. I had to look up where Mike White was from. 3rd-year player, 5th-round draft choice, Western Kentucky. Don't know where he was prior to the Jets. Maybe he's been with the Jets. Don't know. Never heard of the guy. And
Cowboys.
Well, I never heard of the guy. Have you guys ever seen him play? Like, did he ever play for the Cowboys?
No, I think
Great
he came in last week though because Zach Wilson got hurt.
Wow.
That was it.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to go out and throw 405 yards against the Bengals. And then we got to say though, real quick, Bengals. Like, can you live up to your name any more than that performance? Like, my God, dude, really? You know how many they knocked out 3/4 of my survivor pool, me included.
Yeah.
Because everybody was like, "Oh, Bengals over Jets, easy."
Yep.
Jets are awful. They just gave up 50 points to the Patriots, and the Bengals could not stop the Jets. To save their life, they couldn't stop the Jets.
Mhm.
And there was some also like at the end of that game. I don't know if you guys saw that call, the helmet to helmet call.
Yeah. Can you show that to everybody? Brown, you see this? So this is really the officiating in the NFL. Look, I understand helmet to helmet, but if you watch it, the defensive back goes to make a tackle on the running back, is down, crouched way down to try and make a shoulder kind of tackle. The running back from the Jets, though, their helmets collide. It happens. And they called a helmet to helmet on that. And that is where the game was lost by the Bengals and won by the Jets on that terrible call.
If you're Zach Taylor, you're probably saying like, "Oh, it should have never got to that point," which I agree, it should have never got to that point. But it was a big blown call. Like, what do you want the defensive back to do? He, like you said, he's literally like 2 feet from his head is 2 feet from the ground. He's not going for the head. It was ridiculous, man. The Bengals. I'm counting them out right now, Scott.
Yeah,
for the rest of the season.
I understand. I mean,
listen,
but
I'll say this.
You want to count Tennessee out because Tennessee also lost to the Jets. Just by the way,
Yes.
What happened to low
for
man
different
wins?
reasons.
It's almost like these officials didn't play football.
Well, they probably didn't.
Because low man wins. As a defender, you have to take the legs out of the running back. And if the running back goes as low as the defender, their helmets are going to hit. Like, that's football. So now you're telling people you can't even play football? Like, he's not a quarterback. They've changed the rules to hitting quarterbacks. I get that. I understand that because that's the most valuable player on the field, most recognizable. So I get that. You're protecting your product. But you can't call that. You can't.
You watch it one more time. You ask yourself, who is to blame here? 2 players' helmets collide. Why is it the defensive player that's blamed? I mean, it's the offensive player that puts his head down. The defensive player is already crouched going in to try and make a tackle. His head is still look, I mean, to say that the defender intentionally hit the offensive player helmet to helmet, that's one that should be reviewed in New York for sure. So, okay, but by the way, Browner, continuing to your point about backup quarterbacks, Alex, I'm sure you were watching your Vikings last night against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys break out a guy by the name of Cooper Rush. And again, here's another guy. Trevor Siemian, his name I'd heard. Obviously, I didn't know anything about his background. I mean, you just heard me on the air say, did he play for here? No, he played for Denver. Cooper Rush is another guy I've never heard of before. But one thing I will say about this guy, I loved the storyline that I was watching during the game, which was his mom and his dad and his wife sitting there, and his dad wearing his jersey. And, the nervousness of the parents, no different than if it were Little League or Pop Warner football or high school football or eventually getting to college football, to watch this kid and then to keep showing the family and to know that Dak Prescott is the star quarterback of the Cowboys. And here the Cowboys are. They were 3-point favorites against the Vikings. I took the Vikings. to cover the 3 points. I thought, you know what? I think the Vikings are unpredictable. And without Dak Prescott, I think they could probably win a game like this. And I thought that it was a great story. Cooper Rush. Anybody ever hear of him before yesterday?
No. Then why would we? Why would
No.
we hear of Cooper Rush?
How?
Of course.
You know what? Okay. Life of a Vikings fan. Real quick. This is what it's like, okay? I saw what Mike White did in the early game. I saw what Trevor Siemian did in the afternoon game. And then at 4:45 or whatever it was when they ruled Dak Prescott out, I turned to my buddy and I was like, "You know we're going to lose tonight, right?" Like, just because this is what the Vikings do. There's a backup quarterback. We're at home. We're going to lose this game. And sure enough, we lose that game. And I know nobody here cares, but you might have been exposed to your first Vikings game of the season because it was their first primetime game.
Mm-hmm.
That there is no quarterback in the league more terrified of playing quarterback than Kirk Cousins. He is scared to play that position. Like, the amount of dump offs and screens that they have to run because he doesn't want to be in the pocket longer than a second is ridiculously amazing. Like, I hate my team, I hate Kirk Cousins, and I hate Mike Zimmer. The story is not Cooper Rush to me. The story is how terrible the Vikings are with that talented roster because they are the worst coached team in football. Yeah, I said it. And they have the worst quarterback that makes over like $15 million. Like, he is awful. Awful. Okay,
Well,
I'm done.
all right. I liked Cooper Rush. I liked the story.
I was
I liked-
tired of his father on screen. I was tired of his wife on screen. I was like, dude, who cares? Like, this game is close. Stop showing them. Like, I didn't care.
I liked it a lot.
I know, because
actually.
you're always about those sappy stories and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
father, like, I don't have kids. I don't give a damn. Like, stop showing Cooper Rush's family.
I
don't
liked it.
care.
I liked it. I thought it was great. Hey, I mentioned to you that, you say you're done with the Cincinnati Bengals. And I said, well, the Tennessee Titans also lost to the New York Jets. I said, are you done with those guys? And you said, yes, for another reason. Yeah, there's a lot of concern now if you're Tennessee, because it looks like Derrick Henry. I mean, you talk about injuries this past weekend. We mentioned Jameis Winston, which is what brought us Trevor Siemian. And now Derrick Henry is potentially lost for the year for the Tennessee Titans. So the biggest, baddest, fastest, most physical running back in the entire NFL, what the Tennessee Titans have been built on, looks like Derrick Henry might be gone for the year. No confirmation, but that's what's being talked about right now, right?
He had surgery this morning, and it is I believe they said 6 to 10 week recovery time for the foot injury.
So
he's down for the regular season. They make a playoff run, he could be back.
Well, show us the AFC
no.
standings now, though, through 8 weeks, minus Monday Night Football, but through 8 weeks. Monday Night Football coming up tonight. Actually, you know what? Is there not a Monday night game tonight because of? Oh, check that. No. It's the Giants and the Chiefs. It's the Giants and the Chiefs. My bad.
Because of what?
Wait, why wouldn't they?
Well, I just was thinking out loud here for a second about maybe like the World Series getting to. Let's see, the World Series
they're
right
off today.
now. Listen, everybody cut me a freaking break, okay? With what's going on in my real life, okay? Last night I was watching some of the World Series game, and my girlfriend said to me, she goes, "Oh, you're actually watching the World Series?" I go, "No, I'm not." She said, "Well, who's leading?" I said, "I think Houston's up 3-1." I actually turned on my phone. I'm like, "Wait, check that. Atlanta's up 3-1." That's
Dude.
how little I've been watching the World Series.
The NFL wouldn't do anything for anybody ever because they're ratings king. Last week's Thursday night football, Packers Cardinals, like, tripled the amount of ratings that the World Series got.
Wow. I'm not surprised.
A TNT game will beat the World Series. A
That's
TNT
actually
NBA
false.
basketball game.
That
will
actually
beat
would
the World
shock the hell out of me.
Yeah.
This early in the season of an
Okay.
NBA basketball game on TNT beating a World Series game.
If the Lakers played the Nets, when
Yeah.
the next World Series game tomorrow? If the Lakers played the
Well, they
Nets
don't.
tomorrow on TNT,
They
that
don't.
would be
They
the
play
World Series
Houston.
game.
Yeah, they
Look
are
terrible.
terrible. All right, so wait, so here's so bottom line is I was looking at the scoreboard here just so you understand why I missed this. I'm looking at the scoreboard and I get down to the bottom and I see the Sunday night game, Cowboys Vikings, and I don't see a Monday night game. So then I got to scroll back up to the top of the scoreboard because it's the one game that hasn't been played yet. Giants and the Chiefs.
Right.
So where were we in all of this though? Prior
Standings.
to me standings, thank you. So with Derrick Henry out now, the Titans are the number 1 seed at 6-2. The Raiders had a bye week; they're 5-2. The Ravens also didn't play this weekend; they're 5-2. And the Bills, who beat Miami, who's horrible, they're 5-2. That's what the AFC playoff picture looks like, at least in the top 4. Let's go over to the NFC side now. Let's take a look at what's going on over there. Here's the NFC side. Packers coming off that big win against Arizona on Thursday night. They're 7-1. They're the number 1 seed. Cardinals are 7-1. They're the 2 seed. The Rams are 7-1. They're the 3 seed. And the Cowboys, with a win last night over Minnesota, they are the 4 seed. So there you go. That's what it looks like right now.
I like how we let Browner do this to us sometimes. Like, you ask him what the top story is.
Yeah, what his top story was.
His top story is, and he goes, backup quarterbacks. Like, let me get as far away as possible from Herbold choking another game away. So I don't have to talk about Herbold being sucky.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
Browner, what do you have to say about that? I mean, here you are. All you do is you hype 2 players. Justin Fields is the
3.
best young quarterback in the NFL. Okay.
Rightfully so.
3 as in Khalil Mack, Alex?
Carson Wentz.
Oh, good. I'm glad you mentioned Carson Wentz. And then Herbold. So you mentioned Justin Fields, Herbold, and Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz yesterday. Can we show this play? This will live forever. This is Carson Wentz's butt fumble from Mark Sanchez.
That stint with the Titans early in the season starting to get warmed up. Wentz faking the handoff, boy, under pressure. Barely gets it out. It's intercepted.
He actually, with his right hand, threw the ball like he was going to throw it into the ground. Then he takes it back, pulls back into the end zone, puts the ball in his left hand. Who is he? Patrick Mahomes, Brett Favre, and any NFL quarterback starting. Because you talk about how backups aren't really very good, okay, and they'll be trashed by the time they play again. A starting quarterback in the NFL in his own end zone puts the ball from his right hand to his left hand and throws it into the middle of the field. What did you think about your top 5 guy there, Brown?
I thought that his response to that terrible play was fantastic, to drive the team down the field and score a touchdown. Was that play smart? Of course not. It was really stupid. But he rebounded from that and got the team into overtime. So I didn't have everybody makes dumb plays. Patrick Mahomes is making a ton of dumb plays. He did a play similar to that this year where he just threw the ball straight up in the air and it got intercepted. He didn't switch hands, but he had a similar play to that.
What would you say is a dumber play? Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone. Remember that play against? I think it was against the Vikings.
Remember
actually.
that.
When he just literally ran out of the end zone, had no idea where he was.
And now he criticizes other quarterbacks for
or
doing
that play.
Dan Orlovsky's worse.
You know, some people were defending that play, Scott, because they say because it was 24-24, minute 50 left. Colts had 2 timeouts. They say
don't get a safety.
Yeah, they said if he wouldn't have done that, it would have been a safety, and then they'd have to kick the ball to the Titans, and they never would have got the ball back.
Right.
And
so they're defending it as in he did it intentionally?
Correct.
No, it was a dumb. It was a dumb play, but the result of the other possibility of him getting the safety and then him kicking the ball away would have assured the loss. The interception return for a touchdown gave them the ability to try and then get the ball back and try to score, in which they did. That's what people are saying. It's indefensible, in my opinion. It's indefensible. It was a stupid play, but they got the ball back and scored. So
yeah. Well, it doesn't change the fact, though, that Brown, I have noticed, and Alex is bringing it up, that you are choosing to stay away from how bad the Chargers were beaten down yesterday by the New England Patriots. And here's a rookie quarterback traveling cross-country on a 3-4 football team, playing in what is theoretically going to be a hostile environment when it turns out to be a very friendly home cooking kind of environment. And the fact is that if you just look at the last 2 games, and the only 2 games that Justin Herbert has played against a Bill Belichick team, not only are the Chargers 0-2, last year they got beat down 45-0, but the 2 worst games of Herbolt's career have both come against the Patriots. What do you say?
So you're telling me that a second-year quarterback, his second time seeing the greatest football coach of all time, struggles against him.
What I'm telling you is that a team
I
that
love
is
how
that
now he's a second-year quarterback.
Right. Yeah, he was the best quarterback in the NFL.
Right.
You know, he's the most exciting player. He jumps off the screen.
Still does. He did all that yesterday. You know, it's funny.
No, he
how
didn't play
you
so
are.
well yesterday.
Not at all. Pretty terrible.
Did you watch the game?
This,
No, he was watching the Bears game.
No.
They didn't play at the same time.
Yeah, they did.
And two, it's two
Played at
TVs where
one.
I'm at. So actually, they did play at the same time. It was on two TVs. What I'm saying to you is this: you just said, "Oh, Mac Jones went across the country, hostile environment." It wasn't hostile.
No,
and
it wasn't
And so
hostile.
far, so if you go across the country, it's usually like, "Oh, the fans are going to be crazy. So much noise, you can't even hear. You got to go to a silent count." None of that happens in that stadium because the other team buys the stadium out. So this idea that it was so tough
No, it
for a
wasn't
rookie
tough.
quarterback,
It wasn't tough.
It wasn't.
It was no, the travel and playing against a better team. I mean,
They travel for a living.
Dude, what I'm saying to you is that going from the furthest part east to the farthest part west is not always an easy task, And so for a rookie quarterback in his first season, in his 8th week, to go on the road and get a win against what most people thought was a superior team, pretty surprising. But yet, you as Alex is pointing out, you've chosen to move the conversation away from your favorite quarterback, Justin Herbert. Oh, hold on. We'll get there. Plus, let's get to Bob Melvin being hired by the Padres and the press conference from earlier today, along with Grande and the Brown Man from the 7 Mile Casino Studios. This is Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Everyone knows when it comes to NFL football, Raider Nation is the #1 pro football team in SoCal. Disagree? Tough. Talk Raiders every Friday at 6 p.m. on Silver and Black Tonight, only on the mightier 1090 AM.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on Your View or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter-to-soldier and help save more lives.
Still on his feet, Jared Williams-Swift is in the end zone. Touchdown, Wildcat. He's at the 40. Is he going to go? Goes, holds it in. What a catch. Return left sidelines, off to the races. He flipped the defender into the end zone. He's got a man. Pass it out. Wildcat. That was pretty.
Game Time High School Football on Your View is brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon, where your trade-in is always worth more. Just off I-8 in El Cajon.
There's a difference between just getting there and enjoying the journey. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, we put you in the driver's seat of the best cars around. From our stylish crossover SUVs to our classic sedans and sports cars. At Team Mazda of El Cajon, your good credit and trade-in can turn into the Mazda of your dreams. Start enjoying your drive with a new Mazda today. Visit Team Mazda of El Cajon.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
San Diego State football suffered their first loss of the season to Fresno State on Saturday, 30-20. The Bulldogs got out to an early lead in the second quarter, and the Aztecs just couldn't find a rhythm to get back into things. The loss dropped SDSU out of the AP poll top 25. Defensive end Cameron Thomas was named a semifinalist for the Bednarik Award on Monday. Thomas is the first Aztec to be named a semifinalist. This season, he has 42 tackles, including 12 for loss, 5.5 sacks, and 13 quarterback hurries. He leads the team in all of those categories. Next up for SDSU, they'll head to the islands to take on Hawaii this Saturday. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View.
Catch Kaplan and Crew Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. If you've listened to Scott Kaplan the last 20 years, you know one thing. He likes to stir up some shit. A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those afflicted by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Learn more at lamesarehab.com.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Cruise for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being, and we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young with a mission to save lives 2 at a time. We're adopting dogs from local shelters, training them for post 9/11 combat veterans, and we're able to donate these trained dogs to deserving veterans in need.
You know, I was in a very dark place. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I really needed an immediate help. We don't know if tomorrow is going to be there for us.
Shelter to Soldier is a nonprofit, and we're able to do the work that we do because of you, the community. Whether it's an individual donating $5 or whether it's a corporate donor like the Barnes firm that's supporting us and sponsoring multiple dogs that are going to make an impact in the veterans' lives in need.
Him by my side 24/7 has completely turned my life around. It's not just saving both of our lives, it has made an impact on myself, Nigel, my family, my work. So yes, they definitely have saved our lives.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew Tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and YourView, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal. Brought to you by Team Mazda of El Cajon and by Prospect Home Finance.
Wilsey Asset Management is an investment advisory firm registered with the SEC. We're a firm that's a fiduciary firm, and we manage $500 million in assets for clients and businesses nationwide. We do better when our clients do better. You want to have a win-win situation. And I saw the same thing with charities. Some of the charities that we're involved in would include Cruise for Kids. Another organization that we really helped a lot was Children's Hospital. And there's also other organizations that we help as well in addition to those.
Kind of growing up and seeing how involved my dad was in the community, it really rubbed me, I'm going to say, in the right way. I did kind of take that one step further, I would say, and actually did start my own charity. It's called the Fighters Fight Foundation. What we do is we actually provide experiences to women that are battling stage 3 or stage 4 breast cancer. Our charity is not just about providing the experiences for women, it's also too on educating people. If you want to get involved in the foundation, you can go to our website, fightersfightfoundation.com.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YurView.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
We're in a tropical rainforest visiting with some very special guests.
Have we traveled halfway around the world? The location will surprise you.
Today on
Su Vida.
Su Vida.